I broke up with my girlfriend over her body count. Just as the title says, a couple of days ago me and my girlfriend, now ex, of 5 months were talking at a party and we were both a bit drunk and she started asking me about my past. She knew I've only been in one relationship before her, but what she was really interested in was my intimate history, so I jokingly agreed to answer anything as long as she did the same. Now I've only slept with 3 people in my life including her, and I knew that she had also only been in one serious relationship before me, so I expected her answer to be about the same. But she admitted that she had slept with 24 people before me. I thought she was joking, but she explained in greater detail and it was clear she was 100% serious. At that point I wasn't in the mood for any more partying, so I headed home for the night. I couldn't sleep thinking about it, and I can't really explain why it bothers me so much, but I knew this was something I wasn't getting over, so when she woke up I went to her apartment and broke up with her. She started breaking down and asking me to explain why. I really didn't want to tell her, but she kept asking for an explanation and I thought it would be unfair to not tell her, so I told her and she started breaking down even more and apologizing to me, which made me feel super guilty. I kept telling her she didn't have to apologize to me as she didn't do anything wrong, and she asked me why I was breaking up with her then, and I honestly didn't know what to answer. Eventually she calmed down and I headed home, but she's been bombarding me with messages still apologizing and telling me that if she could turn back time she would have never touched any of those guys and that she regrets it. I believe I'm justified in leaving her since I know that this isn't something I can get over and that I'll never see her the same, but I still feel super guilty about it all, especially since I can't really explain why it bothers me so much. I wish I just didn't care about it all so we could have just kept being happy together, but 25 people. I just don't know what to do. I feel really guilty for feeling this way, and even more because I know she's suffering for something she can't change now. I'm also checking in on her to make sure she's okay and trying to comfort her the best I can, but now I'm thinking that maybe it's cruel of me to do that because it'll make it harder for her on the long run, and that maybe it's better for her if I stay more distant. I'm at a loss as to what to do or if it was fair for me to break up with her over this. I just wanted to rant about my situation somewhere since I don't really have anyone else to talk to about this, and this is all I could think of. Any input is appreciated. Update: my girlfriend dated me because of a dare. I honestly didn't expect to post an update so soon, but since I did agree to pick up my things today while also dropping hers off, I don't know why I expected nothing to happen. A lot of you pointed out about she may have fallen in love with me during our relationship. It doesn't matter if she did or not. She broke my trust and I'm no longer attracted to her after yesterday. She allowed her friends to talk crap about me and plotted to destroy my reputation. She's weak-minded and I'm not going to further date someone who will pick their abusive friends over their romantic interest. Do I feel bad? A little, but I tried warning her and she did not listen. Now on to the actual update. So I went to my ex's house with a friend of mine since in no way in hell I'm going there alone. It was right before school. I didn't see my things outside, so I rung the doorbell. Her father came out and handed my things while I gave him her things. He asked if I had cheated on her since she's crying in her room about it. So yeah, more of you were right about them spreading rumors and trying to blast me. I explained I didn't and even showed the screenshots I had on my phone. I ended up sending him it through his phone number. He thanked me and said he'll take a look at it. I told him if he didn't believe me through this, then look at her phone. My friend and I left to go back home and get ready for school. I'm happy I got my guitar back since it's really the only thing I valued. After school, I got a call from my ex's dad. He apologized for the accusations and found the group chat of the girls and the hookup plans. He said he was going to punish his daughter and find these friends' parents. He got their names already and he's prodding my ex to know where they live. I told him he could use my screenshots as evidence to back me up. Props to the dad for being calm about this. That's really all that happened. I know her dad and he's a scary man. He's 6 feet and built. He can be very intimidating and I know my ex will give up the information. It's only a matter of time the girls will fall. I'll be keeping an eye out since I have a week left of school. If anything happens, I'll post another update. I'm not interested in finding their socials and seeing if they already started spreading the whole cheating rumors. I'm sure they did, however. Everything was fine at school. But now it's the weekend, so I may receive some backlash when I return. I honestly don't care. I already got accepted into a college and I'm ditching this place. I just need to survive a week and graduation. My ex's dad will do all the heavy work.
I need my husband to agree to moving to another city because I have feelings for my brother-in-law. My female 39, husband, male 50, of 11 years, and his sister, female 41, are very close. We meet her and her husband, brother-in-law male 40, all the time. Sunday dinner is always with them at our or their place. Occasionally other family members join us from my or my husband's side of the family, but the constant is us 4, and sister-in-law's 3 children. I get along very well with sister-in-law and brother-in-law. We never had issues. I started having feelings for my brother-in-law about 5 years ago. I know people here would call it emotional affair, but it wasn't yet. I kept it very secret and nobody noticed. I love my husband very much and I don't want to ruin our beautiful marriage. We are awesome together and our bond is strong. My feelings for brother-in-law were very confusing at first and I went years without realizing what they were because I love my husband, so how can I love another? When brother-in-law turned 40, they had a big party and I stayed after to clean because my sister-in-law had to take care of the children. So it was me and brother-in-law cleaning. He was still a bit tipsy and he told me that he's been in love with me since I married my husband. I was shocked. He has always been nice to me and complimented me, but I never felt anything more. I tried to ignore him, so he said it again. I told him to go to bed. He tried to argue, but I insisted that he went to bed and let me clean by myself. He probably knows that I love him too because of something he said. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we stopped pretending and just told them, we only live once? How did he know? I cried for weeks afterwards, and when my husband saw that I was sad, he was very concerned and was so nice to me, and it made me cry even more. The guilt is physically painful. I have developed ulcers. This happened last summer, and ever since I've tried to avoid seeing sister-in-law and brother-in-law. With how frequent we met before, there was never one good excuse. Soon my husband was irritated with me, accusing me of not liking his family. Sister-in-law called a few times to wonder. Now she has started saying that I wanted to come between her and her brother because I never liked their closeness. I go to the dinners and ignore brother-in-law altogether, and sister-in-law is mad that it feels like I hate her when I actually love her like a sister. My husband got a new job offer, a city that's 20 hours away. I want him to take it, but it's in a very small town, and he is surprised that I, renowned city girl, want to move to a small town. I don't know what to do. I want my husband to take this job, but I don't know how to convince him. Brother-in-law texted me begging not to do it, and he promised not to bother me again but just not to move away. That doesn't sit well with me. As long as it was one-sided it felt less serious, but now it feels like an emotional affair, and I don't want to be in it. What can I do? I was at my mom's wedding. My mom left my dad and I when I wasn't even a year old. I'm 22 now, and my dad raised me alone until I was 13. He then found his soulmate and married her when I was 15. My dad did an amazing job all those years when we were just by ourselves and found the most amazing woman, my stepmom, when I started needing a motherly role model in my life. I started working at the age of 16 to save money and get life experience to someday pay my dad back to thank him. When I turned 18 I became curious and wanted to know who my birth mother was, what she looked like and what her personality was like. I asked my dad for her name and I did some research. I found her on Facebook and she seemed to live a normal life. I found out that she has 2 children and a golden retriever. I thought about sending her a Facebook message but I didn't. I'm working in service to support myself during university. I work at a restaurant in an old building outside the city where weddings are often celebrated. This was also the case 2 weeks ago. I took care of the bar, and just before the ceremony started I read the bride's name for the first time. I was a bartender at my own mother's wedding. It was a beautiful celebration. The guests and the bride and groom were exuberant and in a great mood. The speeches were emotional. The first dance was touching and the bridal couple looked so happy and at peace with themselves. I spoke to many guests on that evening. The groom helped my mother out of a difficult time. They met about 21 years ago. During that time, my mother was depressed and had a drinking problem. He got her out of a hole, got her a job and made sure she got her life back on track. He never left her side during the past 21 years and proposed to her on their 20th anniversary. The groom was incredibly nice, thanked me and gave me and all my colleagues a huge tip. He seems like a really good guy and he seems to make my mother very happy. I also met my half-siblings. One of them is 16 and the other one is 12. 2 very well-behaved, handsome young boys. The older one has the same birthmark as I do, a little darker spot on the chin. I wore makeup so mine wasn't noticeable. I've been thinking about contacting her just to let her know I don't have any hard feelings towards her and that I'm happy for her and glad she has a happy and healthy life, and that she can reach out to me if she wants, but it's okay if she doesn't, and I won't bother her. By the way, I'm saying mother in this post because it's easier to understand. I don't really see her as my mother. She's my birth giver and biological mother, but my stepmother will always be my real mom.
I cheated on my then pregnant wife 26 years ago and lost the chance to know my daughter. About 26 years ago I cheated on my then pregnant wife, which I fully accept was 100% without a doubt a situation where I was fully in the wrong. I quickly admitted to it and she understandably went ballistic. She told me I'd never see my child ever and that she was gonna ream me dry with child support. Honestly, the first few weeks I tried to mend things. I told her that I'm not looking for forgiveness, but I am sorry. I at least wanted to be a part of my daughter's life, but she was understandably angry and she stood by what she said. She did what she said that she would do, and I honestly wanted it all to end without too much stress, so I didn't even bother with a lawyer. I lost the house, the car and everything I owned, and I had to move back to my parents' house, where I got the scolding of a lifetime. They shat on me for a week straight, but again I deserved it, so I never thought to fight back. I quickly bounced back since I had a pretty good job and moved to an apartment, and it had been a few months, so I tried to contact her again. I just wanted her to let me have a relationship with my daughter at least. She had been born at the time and I wanted to see her, nothing more. She still refused and told me that I'm never gonna see her ever again. Well, at that point I was at an all-time low. It was clear that I had made a mistake to not try fighting for the right to at least see her, but it was too late to think about this, so after a few months of depression I got over it and started dating again. It took a few dates, but I found a new girlfriend. When we got serious I told her all about my past, my previous wife, my cheating and my daughter, and she was aware of everything I had done, but she chose to trust that I would never do it again. 24 years later I've almost moved past all that. I'm married with 2 beautiful kids and honestly life's great. I still have thoughts and curiosity about my daughter, but from what I can gather from my ex-wife's social media, she married a brilliant guy and they raised her well and even gave her a brother. She inherited my hair and eyes and was a swimmer and excellent tennis player like me. She did well in school and graduated salutatorian. She got into college and my ex-wife gave me a chance to chip in for a car to celebrate that achievement. It was medical school and she's currently a first-year resident. I wanted to be a doctor once upon a time, but I could never hack it in medical school, and seeing her succeed where I failed is a joy, but she doesn't know me. Not even a little bit. She doesn't know what I look like. She doesn't know who I am, and it doesn't seem like she's interested. I guess that is probably why my ex-wife gave me an opportunity to talk to her back when they were trying to get her a car for college, and she wanted to know if I still wanted to meet her back when they asked me to chip in for the car.
My boyfriend is obsessed with the idea of me losing my virginity to him. I started dating my boyfriend last April and graduated from university last year. My boyfriend, who I met through mutual friends, did not attend college or university. We are both Christians and he is not a virgin. He has made love with a previous girlfriend. When we first met, he told me it was important to him that he date a good Christian girl. Lately he has been making comments to me about taking my virginity, which have been increasing in frequency and intensity. How he will teach me a lot of things, show me how good lovemaking can be, and more graphic stuff that I'd rather not repeat. At this point I think he gets off on the idea. However, I am not a virgin. I participated in hookup culture while at university and had safe lovemaking fairly often with men I met at bars and nightclubs or on Tinder for nearly 4 years. I am almost a different person from who I was at university. I am much more soft-spoken and I dress more conservatively and no longer drink, smoke or do drugs, which I believe has led to my boyfriend having this perception of me. What do I do? Should I let him continue to think I'm a virgin or tell him the truth and potentially ruin our relationship? Update: I met up with my boyfriend the next day since he had the day off and told him that I'm not a virgin, plain and simple. I didn't tell him exactly how many partners I've had, but I did tell him I had made love with a few different people when I was at university and none obviously since we started dating, and that I was too embarrassed and worried to tell him this before because he kept talking about taking my V card and seemed excited about it. He wasn't happy that I kept it from him for so long, which is totally fair, but he said it's okay. The past is the past and it doesn't matter if it's not my first time ever. It'll still be our first time and then that's just as special. I just got too lost in my head about it. I love him a lot and I didn't want to lose him. Not knowing how he might react was driving me a little crazy. He confirmed that the comments were his awkward way of telling me he's ready. He didn't mean to make it weird and was just trying to hype me up. We ended up doing the deed. Everything was great. Fast forward to this past Friday, I confronted him about being kind of distant, not responding to my texts, being weird about making plans for my upcoming birthday. I told him that if he was planning a surprise party to call it off, as I hate surprises. He said he wasn't, so I dropped it. Well, this morning he texted to tell me he didn't want to be together anymore and thinks it would be better if we were friends. I felt like I couldn't breathe and I'm so heartbroken. I've been crying all day, I can barely even move. I wrote this update but I wasn't going to post it since everything had worked out. I guess God had other plans. I think the worst part is that I'm just really lonely now. We shared all our friends and his family became mine since I'm not close with my family. I feel like I have nothing and no one. So thanks I guess to everyone who commented. At least I know I did the right thing by telling the truth. My boyfriend is being discharged from basic training and I don't know what to do. I'm 19 female, I'm in college, I'm in the Army Reserves myself. He is 19 male. Before getting together, he always wanted to join the military. He swore up and down it was the only life for him, the only thing that will make him proud and happy in his life. I supported him. He didn't have a job. He is horrible at saving money when he does get it. I'd buy us food, take him to his appointments when he got into a motorcycle accident, buy him what he needed. I did everything for him. When he got his settlement for the accident, he promised to buy me a ring. I don't care about the ring or how much it would have cost. I care that he chose to spend the money on his brother instead, buying him a motorcycle his brother doesn't even know how to ride. Now that he's discharging due to mental health, I don't know what our life will be like. I can't continue to support him. He told me he will come back and get therapy, but what if the only way he can get adequate therapy is to marry me and use my insurance? I don't want to get married in a courthouse. I'm too young to continue supporting a man in his life when I have so many responsibilities between college, army, ROTC, a dog, and a civilian job. I can't move him up here with me. I can't find him a job. I'm hurt to say that the man I love so much might not be entirely what I thought he'd be. Maybe I'm just overthinking. Maybe I'm being selfish. But what is he going to do when he comes back that will make our lives the way we imagined it? I love him, but this is stressful. I wish that he would have just sucked it up and pushed through, because now I feel like I have to help him start his life while aiding his mental healing, and I just can't do it.
My wife and children have been away for several weeks, and I don't miss them. My 28 male wife, Fiona, 26 female, went away to visit her family in another part of the country for a few weeks. They were having a camping trip, and since I recently started working a new job and also didn't want to be around my in-laws for that long, I stayed behind. She took our 2 daughters, ages 2 and 6 months, with her. She called today to talk and also to tell me that she misses me. And I suddenly realized that I hadn't missed her or the children at all. Shoot, I hadn't even really thought about them. For all I could have known or cared, I was back to my free and single self, making my own food, doing my own household chores, having free time to do whatever I pleased. I went out of my way to reconnect with old friends I hadn't seen in years, and it was amazing. I felt so free, and the whole time, I didn't once think about how my wife was doing out there, how my oldest daughter might be missing me, or anything. I didn't know, or want to know, anything about their lives at that point. My youngest daughter started eating solid food while she was out there, and started sitting up on her own. It doesn't bother me in the slightest that I missed those first moments with her. I know this sounds awful, but I have no concern whatsoever about them all. I feel like I could do this forever, be alone, play video games, use substances, responsibly, hang out with whoever I want, do whatever I want whenever I want. I don't feel lonely, isolated, heartsick, sad, depressed, purposeless, suppressed, or anything of the sort. I almost don't want these weeks to end. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to leave my family. I know that my children need a father figure, and I want to do my best to provide for them and do all the things a father is supposed to do for his children. And I know I'm a bad parent, and I'll never be the father they should have had. That doesn't mean I won't continue to try and do my best for them, but, darn, if it doesn't feel amazing to just be free and single for a few weeks. My wife's family walks around the house exposed, and I'm going crazy. A bit of backstory: I've been happily married to my wonderful wife for 5 years. In total, we've shared our lives together for 7 incredible years. She's from the beautiful country of France, known for its rich culture, scenic views, and, as I recently found out, very different perspectives on personal freedom and body confidence. Currently though, we're based in the US. One of the blessings of our jobs is that they're remote, meaning we can work from almost anywhere in the world. It's because of this flexibility that we decided to spend 5 weeks in France, staying with her family. We've completed 1 week, and it's been, for the most part, a good experience. The family home consists of my wife, her lovely mother, and her younger sister. I should also mention, her father isn't in the picture for reasons I won't dive into. I truly adore them both. They've been extremely welcoming, treating me like one of their own, which warms my heart. But there's this one cultural difference that's making me feel very, well, out of my depth. Let me explain. In the US, we're generally a bit more conservative when it comes to being exposed within a family setting. However, in my wife's family home, there's a very relaxed attitude towards it. To put it simply, they're comfortable with being topless or even completely exposed at times, especially after taking a shower. Their usual attire at home is also very free-flowing, which doesn't leave much to the imagination. They often joke about how I react, showing how Americans and the French see things differently. And I get it, 2 different worlds, 2 different perspectives. But here's where I'm struggling. My wife is breathtakingly beautiful. And, as it turns out, good looks seem to be a family trait. Her sister could be her doppelganger, and their mom? Think of her as a mature, equally stunning version of my wife. Adding to the complexity, due to how the rooms are arranged in the house, my wife and I haven't been able to get it on, if you know what I mean. And it seems this might be the situation for the rest of our stay. As the days go by, my feelings of physical attraction, not just towards my wife but due to the overall environment, are becoming stronger and harder to control. I'm in a tough spot. Talking to my wife about how I feel doesn't seem fair. I mean, I'm staying in their house. I want to respect how they do things and I don't want them to change because of me. But if I said I wasn't feeling a lot of things with this new situation, I wouldn't be honest. I told my kids about my wife's infidelity. My wife, 27 female, and I, 27 male, have known each other since high school. We were always friends, but didn't show any interest in each other until senior year, where she asked me to prom. I accepted her invitation and we've been together ever since. We got married in 2015 at age 19, and have 2 daughters, who are 7 and 5. About a month ago, I found some texts on my wife's phone while she was in the shower, where she had been flirting with one of her female coworkers that I knew pretty well. We had met at work functions from time to time. They sent each other explicit pictures and messages, and while I found no evidence of a meet-up between them, it was heavily implied that they had done stuff together in the past. The messages started about a year ago, so she's been cheating on me for over a year now. I sent screenshots of the conversation to my phone, and confronted her when she got out of the shower and she broke down sobbing, apologizing, saying she never meant to hurt me. I was seeing red at this point and decided to leave before I did something drastic. She texted me nonstop begging me to come home and talk, but I wasn't having any of it, so I stayed at my younger brother's place for the night. In the morning I woke up to hundreds of texts and voicemails from my wife, begging to come home. Eventually I did come home, but only because she had to work, and there was no one else to watch my daughters. I told her to be gone by the time I got there, as I didn't want to speak to her, and when I got home, I sat my daughters down and told them that I was going to be divorcing their mother. They didn't understand what that was, so I had to explain it to them, and my heart shattered while I was telling them. My 7-year-old started crying, and my 7-year-old started begging me not to, and started asking me why I was doing this. So I showed them the pictures I took, excluding the ones with pictures, and they started crying even harder. I assured them that their mommy still loves them, but she hurt me very badly, and I can't be with her anymore. I also told them that I would still see them, and I would do everything I could to make sure of that. I texted my wife, telling her I wanted a divorce, and she needs to pack her things when she gets home. She fought it at first and begged me not to kick her out, but I wasn't in the mood for her bull crap. When she got home, my kids started crying and asking her why she did what she did, and she started screaming at me, telling me that I had no right to tell our kids, and that this matter was between us. I told her that since we're getting a divorce, they deserve to know why. She left in a hurry and took the kids with her. As far as I know, she's at her parents' house. My lawyer is in the process of getting the divorce paperwork in order, and I'm ready to fight for the right to see my kids. But they hate my wife right now, and refuse to speak to her, only to their grandparents, who have also stopped acknowledging my wife after they learned what she did. I feel I didn't overreacted, but my mind has been racking ever since. If anyone has any advice on what to do, please let me know.